Hey, and welcome to the Charlotte Content Marketing Podcast. My name is Andrew Rusnak. I'm the founder of Charlotte Content Marketing, located in the beautiful Queen City that is Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, what I want to cover is engagement versus entertainment and the differences between the two, how they can sometimes kind of cross over, and then also what you as a business owner in Charlotte or elsewhere need to be paying attention to when it comes to engagement and entertainment, and which one is right for which venue and so on and so forth. We are videoing this episode, so we are on YouTube. If you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, check us out. Search up Charlotte Content Marketing on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your favorite podcast. But you can check us out in video format, or you can listen online. Either way, we're appreciative of you checking in today, and I hope that you will get some value out of our discussion here. So, entertainment versus engagement, and what are the differences? So, one of the big things that I run into, and I run into this more with small business owners who may be handling their own content marketing, who may be handling their own social media. But many times people get confused and they think that social media engagement somehow is a net benefit for their SEO and other digital marketing efforts. Interestingly, I had a situation, and as always, I'm never going to mention the company names, and in this case, I'm not going to mention the company name because the guy was a jackass, but there was a situation actually just the other week where I had I was on a local group on Facebook, and I try to keep up with what's going on in the communities around the Charlotte area, and this one happened to be for a suburb type area of Charlotte. And in this particular group, there was a landscaping guy who he posted something about his landscaping company, and it was something to the effect of, we're not getting any business, and I don't know why, and we're sitting around waiting while, our competitors are getting business, and why is that? So I offered a heartfelt response, and I said, well, you said that you're sitting around waiting. I think that could be part of the problem. You have to be proactive, and I gave a couple tips and stuff. And other people were chiming in, and a lot of them were saying, well, this is really unprofessional, and I wouldn't hire you, and blah, 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 blah. Well, so then later on in the day, the guy gets back on there and starts blabbing about how he got so much engagement off this post, and apparently he was posting something similar on other local groups. And he was thinking like getting engagement was somehow like a net positive for him. And, so I politely replied, and I said, well, this doesn't help anything. And he replied by just posting some GoDaddy statistics. I guess his website was hosted by GoDaddy, and it showed something about social media engagement was up. But so what? That's the thing, okay? So we need to get down to brass tacks when we're talking about engagement. How is engagement helping you? Is it helping you? And I think that's the crux here, because so many times I see business owners get caught up in this idea that engagement for the sake of engagement is somehow a good thing. Yes, engagement, real, actual engagement with your audience who may purchase a product or service in the future. Yes, that's a great thing. Or who may go on to tell a friend or family member or coworker about your company. Yes, that's a good thing. What we don't want to get caught up in is this idea that views and likes, that somehow that equates to sales in the end. Yes, it can. It can contribute to it. but you have to be smart about it. It's not. Too many times I see business owners get caught up in this idea of they see a post go viral and it's got like 1 million views, and they're thinking, well, why isn't my post doing that? Well, there's a lot of factors involved in that. Some of it is just luck, honestly, whatever the algorithm picks up. But I mean, obviously, you can streamline your content, you can produce quality content on a consistent basis, and it may get picked up by the algorithm and get shown to other people. But here's the thing, even getting shown to a wider audience doesn't matter if that audience is not part of your customer base. And I make this example all the time. I use this example all the time where if you're a local business, let's say in Charlotte, and Facebook or Instagram decides to boost your post in its algorithm, and now it's getting seen by millions of people all over the world, and you've got millions of likes and even shares and comments and things like that. But everybody who saw it is in Timbuktu or Russia or something. They're on the other side of the planet. That's not going to help your business in Charlotte unless you sell online all around the world. I mean, if you're an e-commerce business, that's totally different. But if you're a local business, in Charlotte, those people in Fiji, it doesn't matter. The benefit that does come along with that is, I guess, social proof, in that if you have 1 million likes on a post or whatever, and people see that, then they'll think, oh wow, this is a legit business. They're popular, and so I want to check them out. Yeah, so there's a benefit to that, but aside from that, again, if you're not reaching the right audience, it doesn't matter how many people you're getting in front of. And so this leads us right back into the entertainment versus engagement. So with entertainment, that's content that is entertaining, and it may keep someone's attention for a little bit. But as soon as that content is over and done with, that person moves on. Engagement means that you have a moment, right? You have a moment with that customer or lead or potential customer. You have a moment with them where you impress upon them what your company is all about, what your brand is all about, and they walk away from that moment with a positive feeling about your company. And this kind of leads back into branding and everything. And your content has to align with this, obviously. But that's engagement, and you get people talking about your brand. That's what the important thing is. Entertainment is TikTok dances that don't have anything to do with your company. They don't have anything to do with your industry. Now, I'm not saying that entertainment is a bad thing and you shouldn't try to entertain, because engaging content can be entertaining and entertaining content can be engaging. And if you can find a way to mix, both, that's the holy grail, right? You want it to be entertaining and you want it to be engaging. But if you're just creating social media content or content on your website just to be entertaining, just for quick wins, so you get that dopamine hit when you see, oh wow, a whole bunch of people like this post or whatever, you've got the wrong goal in mind, at least from a digital marketing perspective. Now, if that's your personal goal, then more power to you, and I hope you get more likes. Great. I'll give you an example. So there's been this trend going on lately on social media, and I thought it was a really cool trend the first time I saw it, and now I've seen many people doing this, and now it's not as cool. But it's these pause games. You may have seen them, where an ad pops up and it encourages you to pause the video that's playing at a certain moment, and your goal is to try to pause it at a single frame pops up, and you're supposed to try to hit the screen to pause it in order to catch that frame to see whatever it is. Well, this was a zoo, I think, and it had an outline of a seal on the screen, and then behind it a video played of this seal slipping across this wet floor, and the seal would go sliding by the screen, and you were supposed to try to pause to catch the seal right in this outline. And I thought, oh wow, that's pretty clever, because every time people are tapping on there, it's like counting as engagement, and it keeps people watching the video over and over, and they're sitting there tapping on it. And I think when you double tap, it likes the video for you, and so they're convincing people to engage and all that. And I thought, oh wow, that's a really slick idea. It's a slick way to get the numbers boosted. And that just tells, Facebook or whoever the social media platform is, oh yeah, hey, people like this. Let's show more of it. And now, like I said, I've seen plenty of other businesses doing this, and it's not as catchy anymore. But here's the thing. I thought it was a really cool idea. I tried pausing it, and I was able to get the seal one time. So just in case you were wondering if I ever got the seal, I did. But here's the thing. I couldn't tell you right now, if you put a gun to my head, I could not tell you what the zoo was that put this ad up there. So I was entertained and I was engaged. I thought it was a really good idea. This wasn't even just a mindless passing thing, like, oh yeah, that's neat, keep going. No, I mean, I actually was looking at it and I was like, oh yeah, that's clever. I mean, whoever came up with this was really smart. And, it's like, I'm wanting to get the seal on the thing, and who came up with this? And the thing is that, as entertaining as it was, and even mindlessly engaging, I couldn't tell you what the company was that it was for. And so that's the thing. It's like, you can come up with content that's entertaining, and you can come up with content that's engaging, but if you're not tying it back into a central part of the experience of working with your brand, your company, then is it all for naught? Now, granted, this is just an anecdote, and maybe other people tried this seal thing out and they're like, oh yeah, I remember it was the San Diego Zoo. Maybe it's just me, but I'm just giving an example of how, just because you have some entertaining content that's unique and you're like, oh wow, that's neat, that doesn't necessarily equate into an engagement with your brand where someone's going to, where you're memorable, where you're making an impact. Something else to keep in mind when it comes to entertainment versus engagement with social media is that you need to have a plan in place for what happens when people engage. And this is where I think people get tripped up, because they want to go viral. They want to have this million views kind of stuff. But then they don't have a plan to capitalize on that kind of attention. And so even if that attention is coming from the other side of the world, there are ways to make that work for you. But you have to have a plan in place. So, you're coming up with these social media videos and graphics or posts or whatever, and you're hoping for massive, reach and getting all these eyeballs on it. But then what are you going to do with it when you get those eyeballs on it? In the case of a video that goes viral in Fiji, you could kind of make a joke out of it. You could be like, the most, viewed video in Fiji award or something like that, for your next ad or your next post or something like that. And that could be engaging because you're tying it back into your brand. You could find a way to work your products and services into that. But take that moment and capitalize on it, or find a way to get, the people who liked it in Fiji to, do something for your company, some sort of user-generated content or something like that. Capitalize on it and have a plan to capitalize on it. So we're not just making mindless content and following these trends and stuff for the sake of doing it. Again, I go back to TikTok because TikTok is like notorious for the quick, easy, I won't say it's all garbage content, but a lot of it is garbage content. I mean, if we're being completely honest, a lot of it is. Also, here's the other thing too. When we're looking at the difference between engagement and entertainment, we need to think about what is the difference between a brand, a company, a corporate entity that is a business that is trying to make money versus one of these makeup channels or hair channels or whatever that's just talking about beauty products or something like that. Those are usually content creators, like the beauty channels and stuff. They're content creators. They try to form partnerships with brands to get free products, or maybe they get paid per post. It's a sponsor post, that kind of thing. Influencers, if you will. But they have a totally different mindset, and they should have a totally different mindset when they're approaching entertainment versus engagement. People who follow those people are already engaged because of the personality. The personality is the brand. And so when people are following as some influencer on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere else, they're already engaged because of the person. That's why they're following them. So anything that person does technically is already engaging. But they're not trying to sell a product. They're trying to continue to support their personal branding. But so there's a difference there. If you're a company, then you may not have a audience that has as much affinity for your brand starting out, and you can build that over time. But in general, there's going to be a lot more natural affinity for someone that you're following on for their personal branding than there is for a company or a corporate entity. So I'll give you an example of how you can do this, where you can be both entertaining and engaging. So take a look at Geico and their gecko, right? The mascot. I'm so old, I remember when the gecko was first actually originally on air. I don't remember who was the guy. I want to say it was like Kelsey Grammer or something like that was the original voice for the gecko. He was only in, it was whoever the original voice was only there for like a handful of commercials, maybe the first 3 or 5 or something, and then they switched out to whoever the guy is now. I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't the whoever does the voice now. But anyway, so you could look at the gecko Geico and or the Geico gecko and you could say, well, how does that sell car insurance? Is that not just mindless entertainment? It can be, but what they did was Gecko and Geico sound similar, hence why I just got them mixed up. But they sound similar, so it's memorable, right? And so it engages your senses. You're like, wait, yeah, Gecko, Geico, Geico, Gecko. Try saying that 5 times fast. And it's also that the tagline is repeated every single commercial. The gecko is telling you 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. That's heavily incorporated in there, and it's usually used as like some type of punchline or whatever to wrap up whatever the scenario is that's going on. And they do that consistently over time. Now, once they had already built up that following, that's when they moved on to like the caveman commercials and all these other kind of just funny, entertaining, non sequitur type commercials that capture your attention. But they had built this up, and they had built the branding up with the gecko, and it's sort of I guess off the wall, fun kind of way to do car insurance rather than being all serious and showing car accidents and saying, oh, you need car insurance. They made it, kind of a fun thing. And then you're engaged with the gecko character. And then the gecko character reinforces the branding with the tagline, or finding a way to incorporate that tagline into whatever the situation is in the commercial. And that's storytelling. And that's what content marketing is all about. So again, you can find ways to mix entertainment and engagement, but don't get them confused, or I guess I should say, recognize when you're just posting something for the sake of entertainment and when something is actually truly engaging and accomplishing your mission. The two can be the same. I'm not trying to say I don't think that you should try to be entertaining. You should try to be entertaining, and more importantly, take a look at what resonates with your audience and what's the type of content that they tend to like. And there are all kinds of ways that you can do that. I mean, you can do it through trial and error, A/B testing, that kind of stuff. But I always tell people, like, so for instance, become a spy and go look at the people who follow you on your company on social media, and go and browse through their profiles and look at other things that they've posted or liked. If you can find, some people lock their profiles down, you won't be able to see it, but see if you can find other things that they're posting or other things that they're sharing or liking. Look at what type of content it is. Look at the length of the content. Look at where it's coming from, all of those kinds of things. And you can start to kind of build these customer personas about the people who follow you on social media. And that can help to guide your content decisions in terms of mixing the entertainment and engagement aspects of it. So these are just some things to keep in the back of your mind when it comes to social media and really any type of content that your brand incorporates into your marketing. If you want to talk more about social media marketing specifically, or content marketing in general, feel free to get in touch with Charlotte Content Marketing. You can reach us online at charlottecontentmarketing.com. You can email us at hello@charlottecontentmarketing.com, and you can give us a call at 704-323-6762, and we'll be more than happy to chat with you about what you've got going on and how we can help to get your content marketing and social media marketing on track to engage and entertain your audiences. And you can, of course, find us on socials. We'd love it if you subscribed here on YouTube, as well as on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I want to thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Andrew Rusnak with Charlotte Content Marketing, and I will catch you in the next one.